Hello everyone, welcome to another chat breakdown on EU. On this chat breakdown, I'm going to be talking about important concepts like key levels, um, key levels, break of structures, dealing ranges, and also SMT divergence. Okay, these are the main things I'm going to be focused on this chat breakdown, right? Okay, based on that, we have our bearish trend that we have here, because we got this break of structure, right? And we made a deep retracement up here, right? That's why I call this by break of structure. And also we got this break of structure that led to the formation of a lower low, right? Okay, based on the fact that we got this particular bearish trend, right? Due to the break of structure, I expect my short-term drawn liquidity to be this fair value gap, and probably this other block as well. This fair value gap, this is my short-term drawn liquidity, right? But my long-term drawn liquidity is the fact that I expect lower prices, right? I expect the market to keep making lower lows. That is my long-term drawn liquidity. So based on that reason, I expect this particular retracement tap into this FVG, or tap into this other block, or even retrace even higher, right? That is my logic, and that is what I'm expecting that this market to do, so that I can align myself, right? Okay. Regardless, we also got this bearish dealing range, because we are breaking lower, and for that reason you should be aware of our dealing ranges, right? This is our bearish dealing range. I call it bearish because we are breaking lower, right? That's why I call this bearish dealing range. Okay, now since I've marked up my key level, now I would like to analyze SMT divergence, probably, right? This is GU. I'll look at the SY if I got something. Okay, on the XY, okay, I got an SMC divergence on the SY, because you see you have this fair value gap that got filled here, but on EU the fair value gap wasn't filled, right? This is this fair value gap here, it got filled, but on EU the fair value gap wasn't filled. This is the SY up here, so for that reason I will consider the the fact that EU didn't fill the fair value gap and the SY filled the fair value gap as an SMC divergence, and also due to the fact that the SY sweep the previous candle's low. So for that reason I am kind of logical with that. Okay, let me go back to my EU chart, so as to probably make things to be understandable. Okay, that means for that reason my short-term drawn liquidity is this particular reason, this particular SMT divergence with this fair value gap, right? Okay, now I'm going to move to the daily time frame, right? What am I supposed to do there? On the daily time frame is to refine my analysis and have a proper framework, right? And one thing I want to explain here is also that when I am dealing with with my dealing range. And for instance here, since I got a bearish dealing range and I'm still at discount, so I am still at discount. I want you guys to understand this. Whenever I'll be taking a trading setup, I will be taking my profits earlier because of the fact that my dealing range is still at discount. So if I had a deeper retracement to be at premium, then I'm going to consider holding a trade for a very long time when selling, due to the fact that I got a very good price to sell. You get? Okay, now I'm going to consider moving to the daily time frame. Okay, on the daily time frame, I like to align myself with what I'm analyzing on the weekly chart. Right? Okay, on the daily chart, I would like to refine my analysis. Right? Here we got this other block, and got to refine that too. Okay, and got this fair value gap. Okay, fair value gap that we could potentially call our SMT. Our SMT. That's where we are gonna be analyzing our SMT with that fair value gap. Okay, and then the next step now is to look for a CRT trade. Look for a CRT trade, and from my point of view, on the daily chart, we don't have a clean CRT so far. Let me check. Okay, we can call this a CRT because this is one type of CRT, turtle soup of the turtle soup, right? That is another type of CRT that I know that works. Okay, this particular candle will be our range, and then this particular sweep will be our turtle soup, and then this particular second sweep will be another turtle soup. So we sweep 2 times, and it is part of our model. So for that reason, I'll go to the 4-hour time frame, and then I'll look for a potential trading setup, right, on the 4-hour time frame, so as to position myself right on the 4-hour chart. Right, that is my job on the 4-hour chart. Position myself to see what the market is potentially showing, giving me as a signal to probably trade. Right, what do I have on the daily, on the DXY chart? On the SY chart, similarly, I still got an SMT on the daily with EU. Okay, so what I want to do now is to position myself on this 4-hour time frame in order to sell towards my long-term drawn liquidity, because my analysis on the weekly chart was telling me that my short-term drawn liquidity was the FVG, in which the SY filled, right, but EU didn't fill the FVG. So for that reason, I got an SMT with Euro USD. Okay, right now I would like to keep things very very simple and not complicate anything here. I am at discount, so what I want to see is either price pushing up higher, or seeing price pushing lower. So that is my mission, and that's what I'm expecting the market to do, since I've already gotten a retracement and I've filled my short-term drawn liquidity. Okay, that is my mission. Now my job will be to go to the 4-hour chart. Okay, on the 4-hour chart, what am I gonna be doing there? I'm going to be looking for a potential key level, right? A potential key level. Then with that key level, I can then look for sales on the 15-minute time frame or sales on the 1 hour time frame based on the logical framework that I have been able to generate from my analysis. Okay guys, if you have been able to watch the video to this extent, consider like, share and subscribe to be the first to watch my video when I'm dropping it. And if you have any question, you can use the comment section and ask the question so as to have clarity, right? Okay, if if you want to have access directly to me so we can chat on ideas regarding trading, you can go to the description, you can see my details there, and you can contact me so as to have any conversation with regards to trading. Okay guys, peace out.